clouds below are aglow with the rose of the rise of the sun. I didn't come to Cadillac to be the first to see it, though that's why many come. If there's a first, they want to be it. Instead, it was because there was something I had to get done alone. To say hello to the glow of the rose of the rise of the sun, a salutation meant to make the newborn day your friend, for every precious day whose glowing sunrise you attend, you own.
Hello, I'm Peter Graves. Usually when you see my colleague Jack Perkins on television, it is here in this studio as one of the hosts of our A&E series Biography. But as his friends have long known, there are other sides to Jack Perkins, and we're going to see two of them on this program. For years now, he says it was since spending time doing a biography of the late Ansel Adams, Jack has been a passionate student of fine art photography. He has studied with Adams' former assistant, John Sexton, among others, and today Jack's photographs hang in galleries and have just been collected into a book. It is in this book that we find yet another side of him, Jack Perkins the poet. Inspired by the beauties of Maine's Acadia National Park, where he lives much of the year, Jack has set down on paper his powerfully evocative visions and verse.
In the beginning, Acadia sprang, as did all, from the sea. From the sea it was that rose the land, from the sea and the land, life. And when did all begin to begin? Before there were memories or minds to embrace them. Guessers guess, though who can plumb the sum, 350 million years, all those eons of grit and spoil, sand and soil, washed by rivers, pressed by seas, transmuted into rock. Of rock that then erodes away in earth's immutable decay, reduced once more to grit and spoil, yet again to ground and soil. Of lands that rise as seas subside, and then too soon are breached. Of soon that isn't, yet it is, forever never reached. Of mountains interlinked that once were islands set apart, of mile-thick ice to scour and groove, advance and then depart. There is no need for calendar or clock, for here time is told in rock. Rock speaking mutely of first things and last, of unforeseen future and unrecalled past, echoing Paleozoic disasters while presaging towers to be crafted by masters, portents and history, prophecy, mystery. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed by all this. That's when I try all this to dismiss and find asters.
Acadia is the only national park in New England and one of the most visited parks in the entire nation. Here, sea and mountains come together, granite and surf colliding, woods and ponds inviting. It is a rare refuge of many aspects. Many spots that Perkins feels it isn't enough to try to capture them on film. Each spot seems to have something to say, and he tries to hear that as well. So here are some of the special places of Acadia and what they say to him.
Glacial erratic, the ranger calls it, brought here by forces it can't comprehend, delivered to this mountaintop, deposited on perilous perch, to balance here, equivocal, unstable, perhaps to plunge in the very next instant. Isn't that always possible? Or maybe accorded grace to stay for yet a while. How long? It does not know, nor need to know. A rock brings its many yesterdays only as far as today, existing in now, a symbol of solid uncertainty. Glacial erratic, the ranger calls it. I think, so am I. Whenever we come to a shore, it's as though we've been urged by some force undetermined to bring ourselves back from afar to that place from which eons ago we so wetly emerged, crawling forth from the sea to begin to become what we are. What are we? Terrestrials, fully formed creatures of land, so we think. And yet strangely, whenever we can, we return. We seek out a shore strewn with rock or a beach spread of sand, and here we pay homage to something, and here try to learn, to acknowledge that our blood is salt water too, to allow that the throb of the sea is our pulse, and so it must be. We shall never escape from these waters, our then and our now. The sea is always of us, and we, evermore, of the sea. At Bubble Pond, the hills contain the lake, as nature wills. But look again. The waters of the lake contain the hills. This mutuality, I think, is what a marriage is. No longer hers as only hers, or his as only his. For once a man and woman, as husband and wife, are bound, from then on, each contains the other. In each, the other is found. A man of wealth, a man of vision, went into the woods to start to execute a bold decision, here to craft a work of art. Today, with many decades past, that art still spans its sometime stream, a tribute that long will last to that good man who built a dream. Still, visitor, before you start to praise that benefactor's name, concede that to the real art, his bridge is but a frame. Yesterday, bare feet skipped across the sand, tested water, fled to land. Frisbees flew from hand to hand over picnics on the strand, and dreams were dreamed and plans were planned. You should have been here yesterday, I hear a voice from somewhere say. This morning, the tide was working overnight to set the trampled sand aright. Air is tangy, day is bright. A great blue heron just took flight, and not another soul's in sight. Yesterday, did someone say? I'm glad we're here today. I see this scene, this symbol of certainty, thinking, can I be alone in puzzling why we squander our trust on the seemingly certain, and why we believe that a scene's being seen makes it so? Why should we? We see the sky, or think that we see it. It spreads overhead all cerulean blue, we could swear. But that's an illusion. The sky is not blue. The sky is not really there. We're certain we see it. We're wrong, so be it. Credulity has us undone. Believe in the seen? Maybe we shouldn't. Instead, believe in the unseen. The love that peopled these towers and still attracts from afar, people loving themselves for loving lighthouses, as they were and as they are. Unseen, the faith that keepers clutched, unwilling to contravene, for faith, the book told them, is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Invincible invisibles, the God we place above that sky we only think we see up there, and faith and love. Those three are certain enough for me. Henceforth, this is my plan. believe much more in what I can't see, and much less in what I can.
A problem at Acadia, and it's a problem at many national parks, is that most visitors visit only a few spots. They hit the highlights and leave. And so doing, they miss a lot. Unique to Acadia are its carriage roads, a network of 42 miles of gravel paths winding leisurely through the park, offering genteel access. Since motorized vehicles are prohibited on the carriage roads, most visitors, not eager to leave behind their automobiles, never take advantage of them. And that's a shame.
Most who come to Acadia to find her secret heart don't. Most, intent to know her as a love when they depart, won't. They, wishing from an overlook to touch her glades and glens, can't, or apprehend her through a passing window or lens, shan't. Too many won't take time to court. It's motion they prefer, so 95% of them meet 5% of her. The rest, the blessed, praise those of old who had the vision, had the means to pry us, all these decades later, out of our infernal combustion machines and into the woods on foot or bike or behind a team of horses. The best way to Acadia's secret heart? The carriage road, of course, is.
Most of Acadia resides on Mount Desert Island, but there are a few outposts beyond. One is on the charming island of Isle au Haut.
Let us go to Isle au Haut, island of used to be, where keepers used to tend the light to bear their kin home safe at night, which meant they slept, if slept at all, with one eye on their chamber wall, that should the light once fail to sweep, the keeper, rising, had to keep. Where the old pump used to raise a draught of coolness for a summer afternoon when sun had parched the field, an island's holy grace revealed. Where used to be a sacred place to celebrate that holy grace, wooden pews, oil chandelier, as simple as the faith lived here. These are the memories we can see on Isle au Haut, happy, haunted place of used to be. Whither the fisher who, how many tides ago, hauled the dinghy, draped the net, intending to scale, to mend, then left. But why? Shall we count him a victim of himself? Having reached too far and grasped too much, had he stripped the life from the sea he relied on? Had it in turn stripped him? If so, we might remark his passing to obscurity, but there's little time to grieve for the fisher while mourning the moribund sea.
There is another island that's part of Acadia, the small island lying just off the town of Bar Harbor. It's connected to the mainland by a gravel and mussel shell bar, exposed and passable at low tide. This is Bar Island, and Jack Perkins knows it well.
It wends and winds through freckled field to find the woods and disappear. And where from there, those who do not know receive no absolution from the puddled island road. But I its secrets share, and sharing am renewed. The jangles of the day are calmed, its toxins laved away, its vexing, pressing problems fade with fading day. It's time at last to bid the afternoon a sweet shalom, and walk the road that winds to woods, the road that takes me home.
Home for Perkins is a small house the only house on the island, set in nature, surrounded by Acadia. He doesn't have to wander far to find subject matter for camera or pen.
We humans, trusting Genesis, presume dominion over all. So, wresting rocks from nature's hold where stream or glacier let them fall, we call them ours and build a wall. The wall says, "This belongs to us," a proof of man's supremacy. Here people rule, and order reigns, and shall until eternity. Such be our thoughts, our vanity. But, truth to tell, we'll soon be gone. Then who will walk the paths we trod? And when they find our futile wall, will they perhaps believe it odd how we confused ourselves with God?
From Bar Island looking back toward Bar Harbor, visitors get a perspective on Acadia. Visitors do, and so does Jack Perkins.
The town is small, no mobs, no mall, a town that nestles low beside its mountains rising tall. Home to fishermen who lobster, port to those who trawl, home as well to those to whom quite different sirens call. Bustling, bursting place this is in summer and in fall, when tourists by the millions bring abundant wherewithal. But then they go, they leave, and with the visitors' withdrawal, the locals, with but scant regret, reclaim their peaceful, small town.
Small town, small park, relatively. Nowhere near the size of a Yosemite or Yellowstone, nor is it renowned for a singular spectacle. No Grand Canyon, no Half Dome here. Rather, this is a place in which to practice an appreciation of small beauties and gentle joys, to hear sermons that do not shout, but whisper. The discovery of Acadia is the transcendent glory of the simple.
One day, on a shore, by a log fallen free, we see a random rose, no Latin name, not planted here by hand of man to reproduce his cheer, not dusted, staked, or pruned with care, a part of some great gardener's plan. None of that. No bloom of fame. This humble rose, unnoticed here, receives not love, but gives it, knows not beauty, lives it. Damn, say the beavers, ambitiously clever, wanting the water as moat for their den. Damn, say the people, at such an endeavor, wanting no pond where a pond hasn't been. So beavers at the water gate weave wondrous walls of limbs and leaves, while sour people derogate. Each behaves as each believes. That's how it goes in life's exam. Some pupils build, while some decry. Depends on which they're driven by. The urge to damn, the urge to damn. Could it be the hieroglyphs inscribed on morning sand are life's encrypted rules? All that we need understand to live in concord, find our God, eschew disgrace and sin? Could it be? Decipher fast. The tide is coming in.
Sometimes it is not just a small thing that apprehends Jack's camera and mind. Sometimes it is a very small thing, like a single drop of dew.
The lupin this morning embraces a dewdrop, soon in the sun to dry. Now, all I know of that drop of dew is that it knows more than I. I know now, at least a bit. It knows now and then. It has traveled everywhere, lived through every when. Dipped from a stream by the hand of the Baptist, it moistened the brow of God. As sweat, it cooled the nape of a plowman busting Dakota sod. One day it joined Niagara, thundering free and wild. Another drifted as a flake to light on the lash of a child. It plumped the grape that became the toast to a new life, bound together. It rode the cloud of stormy night, fled in sunny weather. It was ice that cleft recalcitrant crags, frost on April flowers. Wisława translated its multifold guises to verse for contemplative hours. It fell with the rain that nourished the bow beneath which the Buddha found peace. It rose with the breath of a dinosaur. It spattered the tattered valise of an immigrant, newly arrived with a dream from a land where no dreams were allowed. It was the tear of a dear young girl, loved, left, and proud, who never knew that not long after it would be his tear too. Oh, it has been blood and flood and mud, and now the morning dew. What next and where? We cannot know. That lies beyond our ken. But the drop of dew knows a thing or two. Everywhere. And every when.
It is in Acadia's winter, which many people flee, that Perkins finds both inspiration and irony.
Some, when winters come, collect their things and head with birds to warmer climes instead. To Florida perhaps they pack and go, to any place likely to know no snow. No snow, in which proud birches take their winter stance, across whose bosom sparkle fairies dance. No white on white of shadow play for those who've gone away to sun-warmed city. Pity. How fragile the snowflake. A touch, a breath, it's gone. Has nature ever made a thing more tenuous, more tender? And yet, think again next time you find yourself out in winter weather of all the things those fragile flakes can do when they stick together.
If Acadia teaches a lesson, it is this: people make a difference. It was people years ago who gathered the land and gave it to the federal government. Acadia is the only park in the country made up of donated land. It was people, John D. Rockefeller Jr., who built the carriage roads, and people who today volunteer in record numbers to help cut trails, build footbridges, clear brush, continuing Acadia's tradition of generous stewardship. The organization of Friends of Acadia embodies the spirit, but ultimately both it and the park must rely on people, and people must care.
Who cares if waters aren't as pure as once they used to be? The lily pond out by the woods looks pure enough to me. The creatures in it or dependent on it I can't see, so maybe, I don't know, if given voice they might agree with all the despairs. Who cares? Who cares if air, by some reports, is not completely clean? A sky like this lets us forget that even when unseen, the effluence of affluence can do things rather mean to air. But then, perhaps these days we can't afford pristine in our affairs. Who cares? Who cares? The question's not rhetorical. It begs us to respond, and how we answer means a lot to places like the pond. Let not their beauty lull us. When all is said and done, I hope whoever's keeping track will mark me down as one who cares.
Most of the photographs and poetry that comprise the book Acadia, Visions and Verse appear without special dedication, but there is one exception. A visit Perkins made with his wife to the Keeper's House Inn on Isle of Ho produced an evocative poem which he simply titled For Mary Jo.
As kids, we romped the dawn-lit shore, mindless as morning, not knowing where to find the day, but thinking it would be nice to find it together. Together we scrambled and clambered as young folks do, stopping to fling flat stones, and when they didn't skip, we'd laugh, because failing together is fine in the morning. By midday, backs baked on sun-warmed rock, we felt how right this was. We understood the calculus that two as one are more than two. Come afternoon, we two adults as one, driftwood poles for walking sticks, tramped the woods where no one knows what's coming next, but if a stumble comes, a fall, the other one is always there. The other one was always there as we plied the woods in lifelong quest. Of what? Of us. That is how we filled our gifted day with romps and skips, failures, falls, and help, and love. Always love. Now, the day is almost done. Come sit with me at sunset. We know the secret of this hour, that earth is turning, sun stands still, and so in fact it's not the sun that soon will set, but we. Me, I harbor no regret, as long as we can sit and set together. Had enough of my pious preachments? Well, just one more, if I may. Unless you intend to live posthumously, go, find beauty today